Well, after reading the book, The Godly Laughter, or To Laugh with God, using the phrase of a mystic from the Middle Ages called Meister Eckhart, using it in a religious context, this book is more existential, using it as a way of understanding the psychology of people, the core issues of psychology. And basically, it says, as a human, you are born into this world with the freedom to be. You are forced to be free and choose. That choice provokes angst and fear in you because any choice you make is limiting for you and can be an opportunity for development at the same time. So you are always insecure between your freedom of choice and the choice that you have in front of you. You're also limited by the world around you and what's in it. You become an objective in that world, and the world is objective to you. And at the same time, you have your inner self with the I, who am I? And the voice from above the I and the drifts from beneath them. Just to give it as a picture, they only actually should work together and be harmonious in making your life great and good. And this book is taking up all these issues, talking about them in different ways. I've been walking through the reading chapter by chapter, commenting and talking freely about it. So basically, it's about the angst, the unreal feeling you can get while you are in this life, and the sense of happiness and what that is that surrounds you. It's also the understanding that life is basically surrounding everyone with four basic issues. That is from Irvin Yalom, he's using these. It's death and meaninglessness, it's freedom and loneliness. And they are in many ways the core relation that you are in. You cannot get free of those. Everyone has to relate to his death and at the same time try to make sense of the life before that death and how much he or she can get out of it. Is it meaningless or filled with meaning, and will it be more intense, or will you freeze not knowing how to live or how to die? That's many positions you can be in. Then the pendlers, the people who are really lost in that pseudo reality, not getting to their authentic I. The authentic I is the one that relates itself to the fear it has, the pain and the reality, its dreams and fantasies, and it relates to love and choices, responsibility and freedom, among other things that's mentioned there. And so we go on a journey with this book in different chapters to try to encompass all these things. And what is all this godly laughter about? And laughing with God, if this is not a religious book? In my opinion, it's a book that opens the doors to both mysticism, spiritualism, and a very transcendental understanding of life. Transcendental means that you can transcend yourself. You are not just the physic and the material and what you sense here and now. And it basically says, the humanistic psychology in this book, that everything is an experience. I am what I experience. And that's all that I am. So it needs consciousness. And when looking into consciousness, humans have realized by looking that they can look at themselves. So when I am in a certain situation, it's like I can take out part of myself and imagine myself with these people I'm with, or the party, or the place, or the travel that's surrounding me. But then philosophers and psychologists and maybe also religious people have realized that we can look at how we look at ourselves. So it's a double motion we can do. And that's very, very special and important for our human beings. That means we can go into a corrective mode. And we can basically always be in a situation where there is time and limitation. And so we are always related to time. And in that time, We can be focused on the now, or that past that has been, or the future that's going to come. And we never leave these at all. We are always stuck in it, unless we transcend ourselves in a being, in a non-attaching manner. It's like we float into weightlessness, free of responsibility and the reality of life around us. So that exercise can bring us happiness or a feeling of detachment of life, and takes us on a journey of sickness and illness, as being pseudo real in our connection to ourself. So every time we try to focus on what life wants from us and other people thinks and wants, and we always and once-handedly try to adjust to that, we lose part of our authentic self that wants to speak out and be different, because we are at the same time unique but very much like everyone else. We have some parts of us that wants to stand out and show we can be or do or say or make way to something in us that's not like everyone else. At the same time, we find that we are very much like everyone else. And so some of us choose to go totally into that being part of someone else, losing that part of themselves, and thereby becoming, in a way, pseudo-real in their living, and detached from their true I, the authentic one. And other part of people choose to separate totally from everyone else, wanting to rise above it and in contrast to it. So you don't want to be like reality or part of it or show the connection with it. You are something totally else. You want to be the God. You want to be the narcissus who only loves himself, see himself the special part in you. And that's also a sickness that brings a distortion into the psyche, of detachment. And the true path in between these are the authentic self, and that's what you can try to find your way through. So it's a very eye-opening experience to read this book and to walk with it and use these phrases and words and thoughts that has been in it. And the book is focused on, of course, quoting several others like Irvin Yalom and Rollo May and Eric Fromm, Peter Kostenbaum, Paul Tillich, and C.G. Jung, a little bit Søren Kierkegaard and Nietzsche and Schopenhauer, a little bit of Freud, and a little bit of Paul Freire as well. And maybe you get a sense of who they are or have a pre-idea of who they are, but this is not a walk through their ideas. It's just how they have been reflecting on the human life and condition. He also mentions Camus and Sartre, the existentialist philosophers who wanted to put away things to see clearly what ground condition we're standing on as humans. So I love this book because it opens every time my eyes to some special ways of reflecting on yourself, mirroring yourself, and especially when he talks about the several types of love and friendship shortly and maybe just as insights. The whole book is just small insights. And that's what makes it maybe special and good, because it does not take you on a journey on one thing and one issue and puts all kind of theory and statistics and discussions in that, but it just gives you the main ideas and lights to go and walk through by your own and on your own. And so the godly laughter becomes that part of you that's creative and that is yearning for eternity and yearning to be weightless and free and above the reality of life as it can be, tough as it can be, painful as it can be, and suffering as it can be. At the same time, it's the life that can be fulfilling, and that you always bear the responsibility for yourself, your I, the way you react and think and feel. You can change it. And even your pains and sorrows and difficult times can be part of your way of being that is cherished. If you can cherish the things you hate and you don't like to be in your life, then you are there where you can fulfill your existence and live authentically. It's also living uncensored in that way that you do not, of course, do harm to life and people, but you do not let yourself get drawn into other people's commands and suppression. You can really take yourself out in good measures and wherever it's possible, because you have your mind and you have your idea of reality, and then you try to figure out the parts of yourself that doesn't fit in. So part of you wants to stand out, part of you want to fit in, and in between them you can become creative, or you can become the person who realizes himself within the limits of the culture or outside it, depending on what type of culture and people and surroundings there are. And so it's a kind of, well, look into yourself, look at these words and how they affect you, and realize that you maybe have a deep relation to them. So when he say the world, he talks about fear. What do you feel? And what kind of memories comes up in your mind? And do you really relate to that fear and see that, wow, yeah, that's true. I've been fearful in my life, and when I want to make a decision, I feel how it can limit other decisions and how that makes it uncertain. And I have to be brave and just make an action of a kind. And sometimes I'm not brave, but just going out of myself to do something without thinking. And other times I'm the coward who holds a lot back and cannot dare make a decision and freeze in between the decisions, like that king that kept sailing forth and back between the islands, not knowing whether he should conquer his kingdom back or go into safety among his friends on the other island. And that's what you are in life and how you are meant to deal with life. And so it's a combination, a package of many thoughts and ideas. It's about relating to what's unconscious in you, or what has been buried inside you, to find a way out in a healthy manner and a healthy way, and to see the human potential in all sides of you, and that you are here to fulfill a kind of development and a kind of creative realization. And so it becomes a stream to learn how to deal with life out of the basis that that's true. I am always free in any kind of conditions, even though I can be in prison or I can be in a given situation where others has the decision, but I still have something to do and say and think. And even if all is taken from you, as Viktor Frankl has been writing about, then you have the choice, your choice to forgive and love. That nobody can take from you. You can choose inside you how the world should look like, even though the whole world has closed in on you. That happened to some people. And so that's the other part of life. It can be a tragedy and a disappointment and a fearful place to be. And so that freedom becomes scary, and that's why you give it up very quickly and let other people who are strong and have personalities or riches decide on your behalf, and you give yourself in. Some people do it in the relationship they are in, where they become submissive to the stronger part, thereby relieving themselves from the responsibility of taking the freedom seriously that they have been given by life. And so they feel free, but at the same time they are a slave to that other person's will. And the other person, who is also fear of making the right decisions and afraid to be weak, becomes the tyrant or the sadistic type who will suppress and use his power and use his strength to become the god that he never could and never will be. And so in that moment, he just feel almighty and feel he can control everything by controlling another man's destiny or a nation's destiny or the way people do things. And so sicknesses are a lot because of that troublesome psyche we have and the existence that we are bound to. And that's what this is all about, to relate to existence and the boundaries of it. So this is basically the book. In the last chapters, I went through it backwards because I wanted to talk about what I found related to the title, The Godly Laughter, or To Laugh with God. I wanted really to understand it, and then suddenly I realized I can't understand it by reading what he wants to tell me, because it's a samsurium of ideas and theories and things he wants to relate in little space. And he goes out on some tracks that's not really what I want. So I started reading backwards and just taking out the key phrases that I could relate to the idea of the godly laughter, or the laughing with God. And I spoke on that in a separate video, and I never finished it all. But I made a free association there, and that's what's good about these things, that you can take them and make your own associations to your own life and situations. And perhaps also in that way free yourself from not knowing what's really going on, why am I like this, or what's happening to me. That's the strength of psychology and philosophy at the same time, because then you can start relating. The trouble is that these philosophers and psychiatrists and psychologists have been bound to some sort of way of doing things that become detached to our normal human life. Because who want to read a book in 500 pages filled with analysis of cases and statistics and failed experiments and results of experiments and discussions and oppositions and hypotheses? What is this? I want something to be used in my everyday life, and this is where these key phrases come in. They are very usable in your everyday life. You can relate to them, understand them, you can use them, understand yourself even more. That's what I like and love about this book. So I've been talking about it for myself, basically. Hopefully others will gain some of the goodness in it and feel the joy and happiness, or maybe the inspiration. But that's not really my basic target. It's more giving it out to the universe and freeing it also from my inner self, and that way being able to feel that I have really digested it and used it, and it's part of me now. So that's also a psychological thing to say. The Godly Laughter, or To Laugh with God. Beautiful and provocating title. Nice book. An Introduction to Existential Psychology by Claes Jansens. And you have also Erwin Jalom. I read this book, very, very beautiful. Had a lot of notes and comments, but now it's far away from me and I don't know how to get to it. So maybe I can, and one day talk more about it. And one certain thing about me and the way I look at these things is that I have a spiritual, religious view also with me. So I'm not that atheist who just keeps everything to what psychology want to tell me, but I use it to get inspiration to those higher levels of transcendence that I feel in myself and live and understand more and more of. So it's also an eye-opener to the deeper worlds that some people unfortunately want to put a loft on and close. And that's what is called the darkness of the mind, because you want to limit everything just because you cannot get to it, understand it, or be part of it, be part of that godly laughter. Then you want to refuse it. That's unfortunately also part of the human psyche, and that's what has disturbed also some of our knowledge and understanding of what knowledge is. So these kind of psychological introductions are more understanding, and especially the latest book of Erwin Jalom, very much understanding to people with religious experiences and God in their life. Unfortunately, as a, what can you say, not believing in those effects, they lose their effect. And that's what's the biggest mystery in all this. If you do not believe, you lose the effect that you want. So you can analyze all you want about it, it won't happen. But if you give yourself in to that leap of faith and give in to the belief, in my opinion, in my case, the one God and His love and His presence in our lives and our ability to attach, and that God that will look back at you when you call and listen to your prayers and help give you peace, you will feel it. But only if you believe. And if you don't believe and think, oh, it's my psyche doing this and that, you lose the effect. And then you become just like one of these psychiatrists, analyzing what could happen if you are a believer and you find peace and tranquility in believing in God. And then he thinks he can use it in the therapy, but it's not going to work, because the persons who are going to use it thinks it's a tool. God, and okay, it's a tool. I go and be part of some meditation or prayer or whatever. You have to give yourself into it truly, and to the power behind it and the light, and only there you get the benefits of it. This was my own private comment on my own account. That's how I have lived and seen it might be working.